Hello, YouTubers, and welcome to Level-Headed News. This is your host, Brenda. I have 6 articles in this episode for you, and this is all about the politics that's gone on here for the last few days. The first one we have here is D, and it says Trump gets urgent warning, IRS as quickly as possible. It says a Washington-based government watchdog is warning. Here we go. A Washington-based government watchdog is warning President Trump as quickly as possible, or better yet, agency altogether. The Internal Revenue Service, a federal court on Wednesday, that it has identified nearly 7,000 documents that contain information how the agency targeted tax-exempt applicants of political organizations. Commissioner John Koskin has insisted since the scandal broke in 2013 that the agency had cooperated completely in the investigation of its targeting conservative groups. In a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit, the IRS revealed it has 6,924 documents related to its targeting of Tea Party conservatives during the Obama administration. Based government watchdog Judicial Watch filed the IRS in 2015 to determine how the agency selected individuals and organizations for audits after they requested nonprofit tax status. Court orders permit the existence of the records. The IRS refuses to say when it will release the documents to the public. The service is unable to provide an estimate regarding when it will complete its reviews of the potentially responsive documents. The IRS status report states, will begin producing any non-exempt document, and if necessary, can produce non-responsive records on a biweekly basis. Tom Fitton, president of Judicial Watch, described the revelation as significant breakthrough. The corruption at the IRS is astounding. Statement. Our attorneys knew that there were more records to be searched, but the Obama IRS ignored this issue for years. President Donald Trump needs to clean house at the IRS as quickly as possible. In fact, said, completely eliminate the IRS altogether. Pig, and it jumped a little bit here. There it goes. Putting lipstick on a pig, Fitton told WND. But in the meantime, there is significant reform ability for what went on in the beginning more than 18 months. The IRS developed and followed policy to determine whether the applicants were engaged in political activities. In 2013, report by the IRS Inspector General found whose names included the terms Tea Party or Patriots underwent lengthy or were ultimately disqualified from receiving tax-exempt status. But the targeting of conservative groups was a scandal that involved more federal agencies, Fitton explained. What many folks just don't understand is that just abuse of the IRS. Also working with the Justice Department and the FBI. Judicial Watch released documents obtained from the Department of Justice and the IRS in 2015 that revealed a plot to pursue criminal charges against opponents of the Obama administration. The documents exposed the extensive collaboration DOJ, FBI in targeting conservative organizations. Records revealed that the IRS provided the FBI with 21 computer disks that contained information from 113 social 3-4, or I'm sorry, 501c4 welfare groups as effort. An investigation into the scandal by the White House, Ways and Means Committee further produced evidence that the Obama administration's Treasury Department and former IRS official Lois Lerner even conspired to create new 501c4 regulations to restrict the activity of conservative groups. The IRS was aware that agents were against Tea Party groups under President Obama's watch to negative conclusions as far back as 2011, according to documents released by Judicial Watch in November of 2016. The long-standing accusations, Lois Lerner, the IRS official who oversaw tax-exempt groups, apologized 2013 for the agency's targeting of conservative groups. Nevertheless, no one at the IRS has accountable for the targeting. As President Trump in the swamp, some top conservatives argue that there is no better place to focus those efforts than restoring the credibility, demanding nation of IRS Commissioner John Koshkin, nominated by President Obama in 2020. Term is set to end November the 13th unless Trump removes him first. The Commissioner Koshkin, or Trump should fire Commissioner Koshkin and replace him with someone that will bring integrity and competence to the IRS. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Bob Goodlatte, Republican of Fox News on Tuesday. Chairman, Republican of North Carolina, along with 53 other House Republicans, also wrote Trump a letter just days after he took strip Koshkin of his title. The consideration of the impeachment of IRS Commissioner John Koshkin in late 2016 was a clear indication that Congress and the American people have no confidence in the Commissioner Koshkin or his ability to discharge his duties, Walker wrote, citing statutory language giving Trump authority to remove Koshkin. Koshkin's firing, he claims, restore the credibility of his authority. We have not received a response to our letter at the Republican Study Committee told Fox News. We understand, however, the administration remains busy putting its team in place to its response. The next article off of teaparty.org, and it says, alert, official set to testify in case linked to Hillary found dead. If I can get this to cooperate with me a little bit. Let's see. I need to adjust something here, so hang on a second. So an article doesn't start out mid-sentence. So we need to get that under control. Apparently this one does. Okay. It says, we're in danger of being exposed. John Ashe, who was facing bribery charges, mysteriously passed away last year right before he was due to testify in a major case. Tied the Clintons to a Chinese businessman, Ning Lam Seng, accused of smuggling $4.5 billion into the U.S. in order to buy up property. Assembly President Mogens Lykketoft that Ashe had died of a heart attack, but police in Westchester County later stated that Ashe had died of asphyxiation, smothering, after dropping a barbell on his throat. Attorney mentioned that his family had found him passed out several times in the last few weeks from mysterious medical condition. Added that Ashe was a loving, devoted family man who had every reason to fight and live. If still alive, Ashe may have provided prosecutors with further evidence that Bill and Hillary Clinton ties to corrupt business practices involving the U.S. and China. Clinton not only signed the disastrous NAFTA policy into law that helped multinational corporations to further outsource U.S. jobs to Mexico and China, but also allowed for billions in shady Chinese investments into the U.S. weeks as Ash's suspicious death, Sanjay Balvani, facing federal charges of insider trading, killed himself. He turned himself into the authorities, which usually is to work with authorities rather than to sign someone is getting ready to commit suicide. Thing of yet another insider among Clinton's camp is just two. The gross criminality of the Clintons has been well documented. Best-selling book, Clinton Cash, is the go-to Bible for all things concerning the Clintons. Although Hillary Clinton is on board with the false Trump-Russia conspiracy, Schweitzer detailed how she was involved in selling American uranium to Moscow by a third party in Canada. Despite all of this evidence, many of the Democrat resistance maintain that Hillary Clinton is the legitimate president. One thing for sure, Hillary and her husband are unfit for any office, never mind the highest office in the land. Article I have for you of newsnuke.com. Clinton campaign advisors frequently met with Russian ambassadors. Clinton campaign being hypocritical? Shocking. Advisors to the Clinton campaign frequently met with Russian diplomats. Clinton advisors met frequently with Russian ambassadors during the campaign trail. Peskov said that none of the meetings between campaigns and Kislyak were about the elections. Tried to cover up communications by creating false narrative about President Trump's communications with Russia. May have some splaining to do. Meeting with Russian diplomats very frequently and then calling out the now president for his alleged meetings with Russia is a bit odd. With Hillary Clinton's campaign also met with Russian ambassador Sergei Kislyak and Russian President Vladimir Putin's spokesman. Well, if you look at some people connected with Hillary Clinton during her campaign, you would probably see that the Russian ambassador had lots of meetings of that kind, told CNN's Fareed Zakaria that aired on Sunday. Peskov said that none of the meetings between campaigns and Kislyak were about the elections. Recall that President Putin during the election campaign had never answered directly a question about his candidate of his support. He kept saying that we will respect the American people, Peskov said. The candidate Hillary Clinton was quite negative about our country in her attitude and her program, declared Russia being nearly in the world and main threat for the United States. The next article I have for you is off of Western Journalism. It says John Huntsman accepts Trump's offer to be ambassador to Russia. On this, if you'd like to pull it up and take a look at it. It says former Utah governor and 2012 presidential candidate John Huntsman accepted an offer on Wednesday from President Donald Trump to be the United States' next ambassador to Russia. Huntsman served as an China under President Barack Obama from 2009 to 2011 and was ambassador to Singapore in the early 1990s under President George H.W. Bush and Bill Clinton. The former presidential candidate endorsed Donald Trump for the office in April of last year, days before the billionaire businessman won enough delegates to secure the nomination. And withdrew his endorsement following the release of the 2005 Access Hollywood video showing Trump making crass comments about women. Called on Trump to drop out of the race to take the top spot on the Republican ticket. Trump's nomination of Huntsman to be ambassador to Russia is this post-victory pattern of letting bygones be bygones. Once rival Rick Perry to be head of Energy Department, despite the former Texas governor calling Trump a cancer on conservatism, chose former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley to be his United Nations ambassador of the businessman's tone during the primary and backed his competitors. Huntsman currently serves as head of the Atlantic Council think tank dedicated to strengthening ties between the United States and Europe. Huntsman's selection Russian presidential spokesman Dmitry Peskov says the Kremlin would welcome any U.S. ambassador who wants to create a dialogue with Russia, NPR reported. Among the names being floated by the Trump transition team in January as a positive choice before Trump decided on Rex Tillerson. Given the current tensions between the United States and Russia, the ambassadorship promises to be among the most strategic and high profile. The Senate approved Huntsman to be ambassador to China unanimously in 2009, and an easy confirmation to his new post is expected. Off of BizPac Review. One U.S. attorney refuses to resign. Fire him, and he gets his wish. Although it is customary to be prepared to resign when a new administration takes office, U.S. attorney wants to force President Donald Trump to fire him. Rahara insisted that he was asked to stay on by the President General Jeff Sessions and had no intention of submitting his resignation as requested, CNN reported. For him to get what he asked for. Rahara sent out a tweet that says, "I did not resign. Moments ago I was fired. Being the U.S. attorney in SDNY will forever be the greatest honor of my professional life." And this, if you want to see that. The president-elect said after meeting with President Trump before his inauguration, presumably because he's a New Yorker and is aware of the great work that our office has done over the past 7 years, asked to meet with me to discuss whether or not I'd be prepared to stay on as the United States attorney to do work independently, without fear or favor for the last 7 years. We had a good meeting, he said. I said I would absolutely consider staying on. I agreed to stay on. I have already spoken to Senator Sessions, the nominee for Attorney General. He also asked that I stay on, that I will be continuing to work at the Southern District. And there's more video if you want to let you and take a look at it. The next one is off of Conservative Tribune. It says, nobody knew about Sean Spicer's former White House job, and it'll leave you in stitches. And to pee your pants. Because this is hysterical. I love it. I absolutely love it. It says, White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer is becoming increasingly well known for being President Donald Trump's chief defender and spokesman, and no-nonsense guy, not afraid to engage in daily battle with the biased media. Stint in Trump's administration, Spicer held much the same role in the Republican National Committee, again appearing as public face to handle pointed questions from a largely hostile media. But according to Spicer's current gig in the Trump, actually not the first job he has held in the White House, as he fulfilled a vastly different role while serving in the administration of former President George W. Bush. Serving as a sort of deputy spokesperson for the U.S. Trade Representative under Bush administration, Spicer also unofficially served 2 years as the Easter Bunny for the annual White House Easter egg roll. In this, oh, this is too funny. Spicer actually spoke about donning the giant bunny suit in a short question and answer segment for Politico in 2008. Revealed how hot and difficult to see it was from the inside of the costume. Nonetheless, he said he loved playing the part due to how much the children seemed to enjoy it. Spicer even used the short interview to jokingly discuss the serious issue of trade imbalances of the time, noting, I kept telling the kids that eggs and create jobs. Exports. All of the stuff kids got in the Easter basket from Colombia entered almost entirely duty-free, but when he brought stuff made by the U.S. to kids in Colombia, tariffs. Congress should pass the Colombia trade agreements and end one-way trade, he added. for a good laugh and to keep his media opponents as well as lazy SNL writers on their toes, we'd love to see Spicer again don the bunny suit next month to conduct the daily media briefing for the absurd picture it would create of a giant bunny reaming the collection of dishonest and agenda-driven reporters. Oh, it would be absolutely priceless. Oh my goodness. Make this step up. If you like what I'm doing here, give it a thumbs up and let me know. Social media so everybody gets to be entertained. And please do. That way you'll stay informed and entertained. Next episode.